Hey guys, Billy from Umami Reptiles, and today we're going to talk about baby carpet pythons. I'm going to go over pulling the eggs, hatching the eggs, sexing the babies, and what I do when I set them up, and the different setups I have for them. Just to give you guys an idea how I do things here. This is going to be my first video. Um, Definitely a learning curve here. Hopefully everything turns out well, and you guys can get something out of it. If not, maybe it'll be entertaining. So you guys enjoy.
So here we have my Impen GQ Irian female. She just laid a nice clutch of eggs for me. I believe there was 10 eggs in this clutch. Just showing how I get females off the eggs. I'm pretty gentle with them. I do a lot to try to not damage the eggs. See, I use my hand and a hook. I've had a lot of success with that, with carpets and my green tree female and everything. It seems to put a lot less stress than just kind of grabbing them and yanking them off the clutch. I'd rather do it this way, because there's really not, you really shouldn't be in a rush if you're trying to get eggs, because you don't want them to turn. You don't know if they've all adhered to each other. I've had clutches that didn't adhere, and they ended up, as soon as I got the female off of them, they just tumbled down like a sack of bricks. So that was very fun. So you can see here, I'm finally starting to make some headway, and I'm able to get her off just enough to get the whole clutch. And my arm's right there in the way. Great shot, Bill. And there they are. I don't think there are any slugs. So this was another video that I took. Just kind of happened. I looked in and saw this baby breathing like that. I just thought it'd be something cool to show you guys. So this is just an overall shot of my River and Willie clutch. Got some Tiger Jags in there. Pretty sure that real nice Jag on the bottom that you just saw is probably going to be my holdback. Just right out of the egg, that animal definitely stood out. And if you know me, you know I really dig stripes, so there's that. It's a really nice, healthy looking clutch. I had a really good year. So here I'm going to show you my process when I'm taking babies out of the egg box and how I sort through them and stuff. Nice little normal, I believe that ended up being a male. As you can see, they got vermiculite all over them. So first thing I'll do is I'll put them in this little container here. I'll spray them down. I try to be as easy as I can, so don't spook them too much. So give them a nice spray, then I'll take them out, wipe them down. So you'll see me do that. Trying to have everything in frame, and that's proving to be more difficult than I thought it would be. But I'm making it work. So I'm getting as much of the vermiculite off as I can. I think here is where I'm going to sex them. And my idea was to do this somewhat in front of the camera. Once again, you see how that worked out. Of course, they messed everywhere. So the last thing I'll do is I'll put them on my scale. I like to keep weights of everything when they hatch.
Okay, so here I have the different setups that I've used since I started producing animals. Uh, from what I've used, why I got away from things that I did, or I used to do and I don't do them anymore. I'll start with this first one here that you can see. It is pretty much a solo cup cut in half for a hide. Then I have the plastic fencing for perching. Then I have my 2-inch coupling that fits my 2-ounce cup perfectly. Those things are awesome. And then you don't have to worry about cleaning water dishes, especially for all the babies. And then paper towel. I use paper towel on my babies all the way up until their first shed. Once they have their first shed, I switch them over to newspaper. It's just easier for me. I think the paper towel, it holds humidity better when they need it for that first shed. Once they have that first one, I haven't seen a need to keep them on paper towels, unless it's just for ease of the keeper. Newspaper is just easier for me. So I got away from this setup because the Solo Cup, I noticed they didn't really like it. It's pretty big. Doesn't offer a lot of security. I just noticed they never used it as a hide. They did use it, they'd be under the paper under it, but they would never use it like I thought they would. So I figured might as well go to something that they'll actually use. So that's when I went to my second setup, which is basically the same setup, except I switched out the Solo Cup for one of these Reptile Basics. I think they're the extra small hides. These things are awesome. I really like them. They're not that expensive. They clean super easy. They have all straight edges on them, so if you have something on there, it doesn't take forever to clean them. I really like them for that. Once again, the plastic fencing for perching, and then my 2-inch coupling. And then here's what I do with my newspapers. The newspaper I get, I can pretty much cut it in half. I think it's like the New York Times is what we get. And I take it, I cut it in half, and then I fold it over like this, you can see here. I fold it to where it'll fit perfectly into the tub. And I've noticed that some animals will actually go up underneath this fold here, and it acts as a hide as well. And then whenever they're under it, all their sides are being touched, they feel secure. So it just gives them another option. So even when everything's in there, they have the whole setup in there, they can still get up under there if they want to. So it gives them options. I like that. That it makes sense for me. So there's nothing wrong with this setup, but I have gone to another setup because, like anybody that keeps animals, you're always looking to be more efficient and improve in any direction that you can. So I started using these egg flats, disposable egg flats. I get them from the feeder guy that's at the local shows in my area. They're big egg flats. I think I have one that I started to break down. So they're pretty much, if you can see it or not, but just like that. And then I just rip them into sections. I get six of those out of one flat, and they fit perfectly. They act as a perch. They act as a hide, because they can hide under there too. I haven't noticed any difference in feeding response or aggression or stress or anything like that. And then when they're soiled, I can just throw them out, put a new one in. They're super cheap. It's working. I like it. The thing about these plastic fencing gimmicks here, they're awesome. They work great, but they're not that strong. They're pretty flimsy. Once a snake gets any weight to it, it's gonna pretty much bow it down. And of course, they get really dirty, and then you have to get into every single little notch there, every little joint, and it just gets really time consuming. And when you have a decent amount of animals, any way you can cut time out that you have to clean stuff, that's always a positive thing.
So here I'm going to show you the process of popping.
These are my three
so
setups. I like them all. The only thing I would just
pressure
completely
with my right thumb,
advise against,
and
at
then
least
with my
for
left thumb, I'll go about a half inch up.
hatchling neonate,
The tail towards the
carpet
tip of the
pythons
tail,
would be the
and
Solo
then I
Cup.
just gently roll back.
That
You
seems
see
to
those
be,
hemipines invert.
that seemed to be the thing that
Show that this is a
consistently
male
for all
snake.
of them
No
didn't seem to
problems.
work. It didn't provide
It's a
the
good
security
idea to
that
have
they
someone
wanted.
with experience show you how to
And
do this first.
I caught on to that pretty quick,
Possible.
so I still have a
Here we are
big
with another
stack
IJ.
of Solo Cups that
This
I
one's
gotta figure out
a
something
little
to do with.
female. So I'll show you the same process.
Yeah, those are my
and what
setups.
you'll see with females. It's best to do this, in my opinion, when I like to do it straight out of the egg, just so they have the least muscle control at that time. Of course, they always want to see what's going on. We're messing with them. And you can see I'm doing my roll, and there is no hemipenes. No hemipenes are showing. So that's definitely a little girl. So just wanted to go over my incubation box for this clutch that I just put away. Couple things that I always put on all my lay boxes. I put the pairing. So you see River and Willie were the parents, the sire and dam. I name my breeders, one, so it's easier to track, two, lineage and stuff. I can keep everything sorted in my head, and it also helps whenever I do the serial numbers for the babies, so I know which is which, from which clutch, which year. It just makes things a lot easier. I always put when they were laid, obviously, and then when I expect them, so I know to start looking around that time. I always just do 2 months in the same day, no matter when it is, because it's never exactly on the same day for every clutch. And then I have how many eggs, if there are any slugs, and that's about it for that. As far as the actual box itself, this was my first time using pretty much a big deli cup. I forget if this is the 96 ounce or the 128 ounce. I honestly would have to look. It's only a few inches tall, so it's probably the 96. I don't have a lot of room in my incubator, so just trying to find different ways to incubate, as I get more clutches, because the boxes I was using were pretty big, so really kept me, at bay with how many clutches I could incubate at once. Just use straight vermiculite. Did the old school mix in, having it clump in your hand and stuff. Only did about an inch or so of that, so it could, just to have clearance. You could see even with all the babies out how tall that clutch was, just so they don't touch the top. I also, let's see if I can find one. I also put 4, probably can't see that, but right there, 4 ventilation holes, just basically 4 corners of it, just so there's some circulation going on inside the box. I think that's just as important as airflow in the incubator. And it seemed to work out, especially my first time using this container. 100% hatch rate with these guys. Very happy with how the clutch came out. Yeah, I'll probably use this technique again. So last thing I want to cover, when I'm pulling the babies out and I'm getting my records and all that, I sex them so I get what they are. So this was my Willie to River clutch. So this was a Tiger Jag to a Striped Coastal, and as you can see, very male heavy, and got pretty much my ID numbers for all my babies. So for instance, if I have male Jag number 1, what I do is I do WR for Willie River -19 male Jag 1. So that is how I keep track of who is who. It's a very simple way for me to give ID numbers to all my animals and all my clutches. I've done it like that since day 1. I do the sire first, then the dam, then the year, what their sex was, and then if they're a Jag or granite or albino or whatever, then I would put that there. Or if it's just a straight IJ clutch, a straight jungle clutch, it would just be male 3, whatever it ends up being, or female 5. Very simple. So anyone who gets a snake from me, you'll always get that ID number from me. So if anything comes up, or if you want lineage information, down the road, if you forget it, then there it is right there. You give me that number and I'll know exactly who you're talking about, what you're talking about, and very simple way to go about it.
So that's the end of the first video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment down below, and I will definitely answer those for you. Please follow my Facebook. It is Uwabami Reptiles, obviously. Instagram, same thing. Like and subscribe, all that. And thanks for watching.